Envision you one up in some huge abnormal house. You're welcome down to the cellar where you explore a progression of winding hallways just to go into a room through a secret entry that opens when a specific book is pulled out of a rack. Once in the room, you are welcomed by a lot of men wearing tufts on their heads and looking rather serious. They then begin reciting some request that is 500 years of age. It seems like the stuff of fiction. However, secret social orders really do, to be sure, exist, and in some cases individuals of those social orders take part in a few pretty strange ceremonies. Today we will investigate a portion of those social orders, the better altruistic and defensive request of elks of the world. That's right. So you're presently feeling that it is absolutely impossible that a mysterious society could exist with a name like this, and we are making it up. We're not imagining this. The superior kind and defensive request of elks of the world is per paper. Report from 1907 is asserted by individuals and officials that it is one of the most flourishing secret social orders among the Afro-Americans of the city, as per the Smithsonian. This general public was made in the late 19th, 100 years later. Two African-American men were not permitted to join another general public called the Big-Hearted, also defensive request of elks of the world. They just begin one more with God into the next level, and it evidently anybody can join in. There's not really odd about this gathering. Yet you truly do have faith in the Christian God to get in. The present moment, there are something like a portion of 1 million individuals all over the planet, and they have around 1,500 lodges, and they truly do partake in a custom. And we went online to find who was talking at a gathering. And what they did, we found names, for example, magnified ruler, internal gatekeeper, and regarded faithful knight. It appears they had petitions in extensive opening successions, and there are additionally inceptions. Some portion of one such inception read, when the committed siblings are posed the inquiries with regards to what they most. This is the presentation on its true site. The request for Knights of Pythians is a worldwide, nonpartisan, congenial request, laid out in 1864 in Washington by Justice Rathbone. What's more, was the principal congenial request to be sanctioned by a demonstration of Congress. The general public says it has its own conventional ceremonies. However, in the end, the situation is about foundation, love, making the best decision by the siblings and society at large. It appears you could need to be an individual from the public authority to join. We let it slide. Finishing up the application structure, we saw a lot of photographs as well. And keeping in mind that the name of this general public would make somebody think of dull corridors and blood-stained books, they truly do really look a touch more like Kid Scouts. They sound like an incredible pack of folks, with some portion of their standards being things like, the Pythians know one way to satisfaction is through administration to humankind. Pythians accept that fellowship is a fundamental fixing throughout everyday life. Pythians make consideration, graciousness, liberality, and resistance a reality in their lives. Subsequent to hearing who would have no desire to become one of these knights. Worldwide request of St. Hubertus, this mysterious society sounds somewhat unique in that a significant number of its individuals should be tip-top trackers. It returns to 1695 and, as per its own site, was assembled to find the most prominent respectable trackers of the 1700 years, especially in Bohemia, Austria, and nations of the Austro-Hungarian realm, owned by the Habsburgs. The Smithsonian lets us know that German Chief Adolf Hitler shut the general public down after another. Nazi Pinheiro was denied section into the club. Regardless, once more fired up, it's still around now. In 2016, the Washington Post broke a tale about high society Americans meeting for a few days of hunting and we suppose some measure of ceremonial handshaking. The Post stated, some hold tittles like stupendous expert, earlier in night fantastic official. The request name is out of appreciation for Hubert, the benefactor, holy person of trackers and anglers. This seems to be a remarkable first-class gathering, and we question you can simply waltz into the gathering. A portion of the individuals got to that farm by confidential plane, so we figure it's no Cub Scouts kind of outfit. They dress truly brilliant, and assuming you go to the authority site, you'll find that one of them. The primary things with this gathering is preservation and keeping game species around, apparently, so they can chase them. This is a short piece from that site making sense of how things go down. The Ush is going by a fabulous expert. As of now, His Royal Head Archduke Istvan von Habsburg-Lothringen, Archduke of Austria, and its defender is His Highness Ruler, John Carlos of Spain. Archduke Istvan is upheld in his administration of the request by the officials of the Great Section. The amazing section is made out of the terrific priors, or heads of the public wards, in which the request is laid out. Individuals from the staff of the fantastic Pardon 3 Guides. It's anything but a strict association, yet we surmise to go along with you should be a word. Somebody who welcomes you, as far as we can tell, Individuals should put away some money on occasion, so we question most of our audience members will join at any point in the near future. We are speculating that the venture will be impressive. The anonymous request about colleagues. Now, this sounds like an association you could join. While the previous bundle may be a piece grandiose, who could do without somebody conceding to being a piece odd? It's said that it happened after the ruler official of the assembled realm, Georgiev, didn't need to go through the long commencement interaction to turn into a Freemason. It appears he made this adversary club at some point in the mid to late 1900 years, yet its individuals could perceive you returns a lot further in time. It's had a few quite huge names on its speculation list, with English state leader Winston Churchill being a part. This is important for its statement of purpose taken from the authority site. Stop degrees and exercises expect to improve and hoist each individual to a higher. Nobler, plan to stretch out compassion and help to those out of luck, making their weights lighter, easing the dimness of despondency to fight bad habit in each structure, and to be an extraordinary moral power. What's more, impact to ultimately benefit humankind. It is comprehensive, clearly expressing that it could take anybody paying little mind to social standing, race, religion, orientation, sexual direction. They have a Facebook page and bunches of occasions going on. It appears to turn into an odd individual, then you can pull out all the stops. The devoted request children of America, we figure you could get an opportunity at joining. These folks, well, what do they do? All things considered, the heinous in the name, they are American nationalists. If you have any desire to join, the authority site says you should be all local conceived or naturalized American male residents, 16 years and more, seasoned, who have confidence in their nation and its organizations, who want to sustain free government, who wish to support a caring inclination among Americans, in that we might commend our country to get together with us in our work of partnership and love. As far as we can tell, these individuals like to wave signals a great deal. They're extremely enthused about that American banner, well as saving anything connected with it. The saying proves God first, then country, then request. So disregard joining these individuals in the event that you don't do church or don't have a banner secured to your home. This is important for the introduction on the gathering standards part of the site. Close to a door for the maker, we accept that positive energy is one of the greatest and noblest longings of the human spirit. We are an energetic brotherly association that embraces the standards of adoration, pardoning, also effortlessness while perceiving the variety of different beliefs and societies. It additionally expresses, we should say figured or typed government and save it from the impact. Also, control of any unpatriotic opinion, power, whether local or unfamiliar. The old request of joined workers, this general public was set up to shield the freedoms of the American regular workers. It offered protection for the average individuals against disorder, mishaps, or passing. It could likewise have assisted average people with internments. It got going prevalently wide and strict. Yet that changed after some time. It appears it was areas of strength for going through the 20th years. We ever don't know whether it exists today. We apparently can track down a lot of data about this gathering after the 1980s. The antiquated request of the Foresters, these folks, or see it going, it appears they changed the name to the Foresters Occult Society. Beginning in 1834, it was likewise about safeguarding the average workers. However, it's not exactly about backwoods. Its site makes sense of our most memorable individuals came to remember they had an obligation to help their countrymen who fell into need as they strolled through the backwoods of life. This need emerged mainly when a provider became sick, couldn't work and got no wage. Ailment and demise left families monetarily upset and frequently penniless. We ought to say that this general public is situated in England. As far as we can tell, looks more professional than a general public where you will track down bunches of conventional customs. The fantastic orange cabin, this was set up to safeguard Protestants in Ireland. However, you'll track down individuals from one side of the plane to the other. It cites states Orangism is a positive instead of a negative power. It wishes to advance the transformed religious and the faultless expression of God in the book of scriptures. Orangism doesn't encourage disdain or narrow-mindedness. Judgment of strict philosophy is coordinated against chapel principle and not against person, followers, or individuals. It additionally expresses that while it could have been called secret, strolling about in radiant orange is not really holding your head down. It's not the most mystery society in this rundown. That is without a doubt. We went to their forthcoming occasions page. However, it appears as we compose this, not much is going on. We saw, however, that these orange folks will do a great deal of walks in Ireland in 2019. You don't need to be Irish to join with the site expressing we proceed to welcome a rising number of worldwide guests to our festivals who are sharp to encounter direct the exhibition of the greatest day in the strutting schedule. They've even got their own paper called the Orange Norm. Anyway, if you somehow happen to join only one of these social orders, which do you suppose you'd pick? Might you at any point educate us regarding other mystery social orders? Let us know in the remarks. Additionally, make certain to look at our other video, the most impressive families who covertly run the world. Granted for watching. And as usual, remember, like, share, and buy in. See you sometime later. The old request of joined workers, this general public was set up to shield the freedoms of the American regular workers. It offered protection for the average individuals against disorder, mishaps, or passing. It could likewise have assisted average people with internments. It got going prevalently white and strict. That changed after some time. It appears it was areas of strength for going through the 20th hundred years. We ever don't know whether it exists today. We apparently can track down a lot of data about this gathering after the 1980s. The antiquated request of the Foresters, these folks are actually going, yet it appears they changed the name to the Foresters Cordial Society. Beginning in 1834, it was likewise about safeguarding the average workers. However, it's not exactly about backwoods. Its site makes sense of our most memorable individuals came to remember they had an obligation to help. They're kindred men who fell into need as they strolled through the backwoods of life. This need emerged mainly when a provider became sick, couldn't work, and got no wage. Ailment and demise left families monetarily upset and frequently penniless. We ought to say that this general public is situated in England, and as far as we can tell, looks more professional than a general public where you'll track down bunches of conventional customs. The fantastic orange cabin, this was set up to safeguard Protestants in Ireland. However, you'll track down individuals from one side of the planet to the other. It cites states Orangism is a positive instead of a negative power. It wishes to advance the transformed religious and the faultless expression of God, the book of scriptures. Orangism doesn't encourage disdain or narrow-mindedness. Judgment of strict philosophy is coordinated against chapel principle and not against person, followers, or individuals. It additionally expresses that while it could have been called secret, strolling about in radiant orange is not really holding your head down. It's not the most mystery society on this rundown. That is without a doubt. We go to their forthcoming occasions page. However, it appears as we compose this, not much is going on. We saw, however, that these orange folks will do a great deal of walks in Ireland in 2019. You don't need to be Irish to join. With the site expressing, we proceed to welcome a rising number of worldwide guests to our festivals who are sharp to encounter direct the exhibition of the greatest day in the strutting schedule. They've even got their own paper called the Orange Norm. Anyway, if you somehow happen to join only one of these social orders, which do you suppose you'd pick? Might you at any point educate us regarding other mystery social orders? Let us know in the remarks. Additionally, make certain to look at our other video, the most impressive families who covertly run the world. Gratitude for watching, and as usual, remember, like, share, and buy in. See you sometime later.